Landscaper wants to be paid for work I did not hire him to do. I know this is a little off topic, but since it's still a newish house I thought I'd ask here. We closed on our house a little over a month ago. For reference, this is in Westchester, New York, and we've been living in the city while we have work done to the house before we move in. So we only check it out once a week, and with my work schedule and our summer weekend family plans, lately it's been my wife who drives up and checks out the progress, touch base without contractor. All that is fine. The problem came today when a landscaper, who used to take care of the lawn for the previous owner, came up to my wife when she was leaving, introduced himself and said he'd been taking care of the lawn and wanted to be paid for June. He said the previous owners told him we might be interested. Now we only spoke to the previous owners once at closing, and they did give us the gardener's info, label just gardener no name lol along with like their plumber and the oil company. But I didn't express any interest in using their gardener to them. And I didn't call him. I like to do my own lawn. I already bought the mower, and in fact gave it a mow on one of the trips I did make up there. So now he told me wife he would like to be paid for June because the old owners said I would be interested. He said we were grandfathered in. She took his card and said we would call him. He didn't give her an amount he'd like to be paid. Here's my problem, I know he does the neighbors on either side, although my one neighbor said he was kind of an asshole, but I know I will probably see him around in the future. So I don't want to go scorched earth on him. But I also don't want to pay for work I didn't hire him for, and I don't need someone to mow my lawn. So I'm wondering, should I offer to give him something? Just to keep the peace? Should I just dodge him until I see him again and play dumb? Have him collect from previous owners. If it's like $100, just pay him and tell him you'll call in the future if you need his services but prefer to do that work yourself. I've learned over the years that if it's a small amount, it's cheaper to just pay it and avoid long-term drama. If it's a large amount, tell him you did not agree to anything and whatever the previous owner said does not apply to you as the ownership has changed. I wouldn't call. I'd text so that it's all in writing. I do not understand why anyone is saying to pay them. They didn't even claim they'd hired, just that the new owners maybe would want service. In no way did they agree to service. They shouldn't pay for it. It's one hell of a common scam to just do work and then demand payment. Hell no. Tell him to collect from the previous owner as you did not hire him. You don't get grandfathered into this shit lol. That's ridiculous. The old owners don't speak for me. You can build them. Good luck producing authorization from me. Honestly, if there was a miscommunication where he legitimately thought he was contracted to do landscaping, I would say pay him. It doesn't sound like this is the case though. He explicitly knew that the house was being sold and never tried to contact you. He just went ahead and did it, without you didn't knowing it was happening, and then gave you a bill for claimed work. Is there even evidence that he did the work he claims? You call him up and inform him, you didn't hire him, and he can call the old owners if he thinks he is owed money for trespassing. Don't pay for a job you didn't contract. I'd say no. I didn't authorize the work. Why would anyone do this? I wouldn't pay for anything. You didn't ask him to do the work. He took it upon himself to do it. Under an assumption. If it's a nominal amount like $50, I'd say hey, we're the new owners of this house and there must have been a miscommunication. I'd rather do my own yard work, so we'll reach out if we need your services in the future. Until then, please do not do any more landscaping. Since you did some work due to the prior owner's misunderstanding, here's your fee, but please don't come back unless we reach out. No. He told your wife they said you might be interested, they knew the risk. You didn't notice the lawn was getting mowed? Pay him for the month, say there was a miscommunication and you don't need him going forward as you want to do it yourself, but if things change, you'll give him a call. Stuff like this happens. You might get a random oil delivery to one day if you have an oil furnace. It's not worth it getting into an argument over or making an enemy. Move on with life. Stop spending any more brainpower on something so trivial. Don't avoid, don't pay. Tell him straight out that you didn't hire him, so won't be paying him. Old owners hired him, they can pay him. Too bad for them, they hired him for someone else's house. Me personally, I ain't paying him unless I want him to keep doing the work or I have other jobs in the future I want him to do. Just like if some store ships me something I didn't order and then sends me a bill for it, they aren't getting paid. Now, could I see a world where in the interest of conflict reduction, I pay somewhere between 1 and 99 of the bill? Sure, but that's a personal choice. I don't like a couple of my neighbors, so keeping the peace is a low priority for me with them. YMMV. You didn't hire him. Now you're unlikely to hire him, so what if he does the lawns on either side of you? His negative opinion can't hurt you. No matter how you tell him you won't pay him, he'll still want to knock on your door, ask you in person, so you may as well send him a letter ASAP saying you didn't hire him, won't pay him further, he's disallowed from coming on your property for any reason. I say to do it ASAP, BC he's going to keep running up that bill till you stop him, he's no good reason not to. Why does he want to be paid for June? Did he do any work? If not, then you're being extorted over feelings. That's not good. Pretty sure the former owners said they were picking up the tab, at least that's what they said at the closing. I was told the previous owners were interested in paying you for the month of June. So lame. I wouldn't pay. No. You don't have a contract with him. Check if your realtor added hid expenses due. Normally that should never be in an offer contract when purchasing a home. Legally he can't do anything. I would never pay anyone I didn't have a contact with, and also your liability. If someone is on your property and hurts themselves, they can sue him once. Then if he continues to be a nuisance, file complaint with police department. I know moving is expensive and stressful, but you don't need him to do your yard. All you have no contract unless he is mandated by HOA to mow or maintain your yard. Give him the number for the old owner. Since he's an asshole, offer to do both of your neighbor's lawns at a better LL. Have the mower out for your lawn anyway. Don't call him, don't acknowledge him. Don't go outside when he's around, don't make eye contact if you see him. If you can't get away and he manages to talk to you. They said I might be interested? Huh. I wonder where they got that idea. We never even talked to them. Thanks for reaching out. I'll let you know if I get tired of mowing it myself. Could he be double dipping? Did the previous owners pay him already and now he is coming to you for it? I don't let anyone work on my property without their own liability policy. When I had a pushy landscaper wanting to do the whole street, I nicely asked for a copy of his policy, and of course he didn't have one and couldn't argue about it. This worked for the one situation. But when someone tries to manipulate me and make up BS about grandfathered in, it would be better to just say no thanks. I do my own work and wouldn't have asked for service in June, if I feel safe making the point with someone who might be vindictive. Tell the previous owners they need to pay him because you didn't agree to it. I wouldn't pay. I understand why people here are telling you to pay something, and it's admirable. But unnecessary. You never called him, never hired him, and he said because the old owner shined him on. Tell him, no, you're sorry for the misunderstanding, but that's not how business works. You just bought a house in Westchester, still living in city, while you renovate it. You are clearly not poor. Pay a reasonable amount, clarify your future intentions, and move on. A New Yorker who doesn't recognize a hustle? Say it ain't so. He's playing you, don't be a rube. Lol, grandfathered in. This guy's got jokes. Actually sir, the old owners said you would give me a blowjob. See how that works. The old owners can say anything they want, doesn't mean you agree to it. Tell him no thank you. If he persists, ask him to seek payment from his previous client, as you did not authorize the work. If he still persists, calmly ask him to leave your property and not to return.